Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's McReapers, and welcome back to another video. And today I'm gonna be doing a tier list of all the units that are currently in Anime Vanguard. And real quickly, I'm just gonna go over some of the supports. I have Hakura Rin, Speedwagon, Crocodile, Kakashi, Killua, Hachi, and Pain. Um, she buffs with damage and range, money unit, slow. These two stun, increased damage, and then a pushback. And then I just put all most of the epics in C tier, and then all the rares in D because they're not really viable in my opinion. Um, it's really when you start using legendaries where they can make an argument for A, B, and probably even S tier depending on them. First up, let's go with Gon. He probably has one of the best passes in the game, which I think probably makes him A tier. Kizaru, he's a really low SPA, but his damage isn't too great. Um, Goku Black, once again, really, really good passes. I think he's probably on par with Gon. I feel like they can, well, no, they can't make an argument for S tier, I'm gonna be honest, but if they did a little, had the higher damage, then maybe. And then Grimjow, it doesn't really do anything too special. It's an okay passive, but I mean, this overall damage just isn't too great. And then we get into the mythics. I'm just gonna do the Evo versions only. Shahang, she's this is gonna be controversial, but come on. I don't think she's honestly better than any other mythic. It's a problem. Um, oh yeah, I almost forgot. We gotta put Sasuke in support. Then Tito's stunned technically on every attack. But now the problem with Shahang is I feel like she just doesn't do anything better than any of the other units. She's in my opinion heavily carried by her fucking AoE attacks. And then I would say next up is Nart. I'm debating between bottom of S tier, top of A. We're just gonna do that for now. The only problem with Naruto, it can take a while for him to reach his max damage, but the only cons are that he has a pretty like his attack size are pretty small, but his damage it can be pretty high if you can fully max out his passive and get like I think it's 36% buff. Let me check. I got the wiki up over here. I think it's a 36% damage buff. Yeah. That third if you can get that 36% damage buff, then he's gonna be really good and easily out DPS's Shahang. Next up we have let's see. I think this is gonna be our first S tier unit. Um as of right now, this is the only unit other than maybe Alucard and Aegis that can one-shot statues on placement if you don't have Almighty or not Almighty Monarch. So I think for me, he's easily bottom of S tier. But he doesn't necessarily do more damage than Naruto, but I feel like he overall has more usefulness, especially for those who use macros, since he can one-shot statues. And even if you don't use macros, I feel like he's still probably really good. And, yeah, he's easily the best, I think, beginner like starting round unit now, since he's only 1200, so he's cheaper than Naruto. He's the cheapest mythic in the game right now. Next up, we have the first big like person for DPS being Obito. Insane damage. He he really got buffed since his SPA got cut in half, and he has really good range, and plus he has 30% burn. I mean, there's nothing more to say. He has like some of the highest DPS potential in the game, and then we have the highest DPS mythic in the game, and maybe I'm not really sure about Alucard's stats. I'm not gonna lie, but um. Dungeon Wu's I think the only unit to have like an actual ability button in the game right now, which summons the 15 shadows, which all are really good, and not to mention the fucking damage buffs you guys are insane. It is actually, especially when you pair it with Aegis, it's not fair. I'm not. This is actually insane. And then obviously Aegis, I think he's probably the best. He's easily the best boss killer because he does 40% more. Not to mention he gets crazy damage buffs when paired with Jin Woo. And if you have a Hawk or a Rin, like his damage is almost limitless. And then here comes the part where I'm not. I'm not too sure about because I personally don't have Alucard. I have every other unit on the list except Alucard. I think he's better than Igris. I don't know. Honestly, I couldn't really tell you. Unfortunately, let me see. I think he's the only bleed unit in the game as of right now. And let me see if I can pull up his stats on my second monitor real quick. I don't know. It's definitely hard to say. I want he's the only unit I'm unsure about, but he's probably S tier. He might be like under Jinwoo, honestly, just because Jinwoo's a mythic. He's easier to get, and I think he's just probably more practical for people in general. I think more people will have Jinwoo than Alucard, and I think they probably do similar damage just because of how crazy the fucking damage boost that Jinwoo gets. But I think honestly, other than that, this is a complete tier list because you have all the supports. It's that damage buff, stun on every attack, money unit, which is necessary. Only slow unit. So honestly, he's probably like the. I'm honestly gonna do this. Um, Sasuke, in my opinion, is kind of, pardon my language, dog shit. His stun isn't good enough. Well, matter of fact, none of the stun units in this game are good, in my opinion. The stun lasts too. It's not long enough for it to make as much that much of a difference, in my opinion. I'm sure it definitely helps if you're doing like leaderboard runs for like infants, but like other than that, it's like you hardly ever use the stun ability. And I feel like honestly, Itachi's like extra damage and pain knockback are probably better than stun. So let's do this. And obviously top of that, yeah. So I like that for supports. He's hit the reason why Crocodile is above them is just because his slow actually lasts for a few seconds, unlike Sasuke's stun and these guys are stun. So I think this is in order of best supports in my opinion. Hakura Ren, you don't necessarily need her, but she can be nice. I don't think if you have multiple down, I don't think they stack. Um, and then for damage, obviously, Igris, insane damage potential. Same thing with Jinbu. Alucard, not too sure about. Obito, once again, just really high DPS. Vegeta has a really good this his usability in my opinion is just a lot better than any of these two mythics. The statues, and then Naruto, he I just think I like him more than Shai. I feel like she's easily the most overrated unit in this game just because all she does crit. It's a 20% chance to crit, and she hits 3 times, I think, maybe four on her last attack. So you're not even like probability said you're not even guaranteed to hit a crit within technically one of her attacks. So that's just my opinion. I don't think she's that good. And then going insane past the same thing with Goku Black, easily two of the best legendaries in the game. Well, not even easily. They are the best legendaries in the game. Damage potential is so crazy. These guys can carry you in stories. You don't have mythics. And then Kizaru, Grimmjow, they're decent damage, nothing too special. And then obviously there's all the epics and rares, which I'm not going to go into too much. But yeah, this is finalized tier list. Let me know if you guys have any, if you would change anything. But that's everything, and thank you guys for watching, guys.